I'm Jim Collison, and this is the Wellbeing at Work with CliftonStrengths podcast, recorded on November 19th, 2021. In this CliftonStrengths podcast, we'll look at the strengths, insight, and action planning items from Appendix 1 in the Gallup book, Wellbeing at Work, one theme at a time. And today's theme is adaptability. If you're listening live, I'd love to have you join us in the chat room. There's a link right above me there. You can click on that and sign into the chat room. If you have questions after the fact, we'd love to have you send us an email, coaching@gallup.com. Dr. Jacqueline Robinson is our host today. She works as a Gallup Learning and Development Consultant and is the primary and was the primary contributor to Appendix 1 in the Wellbeing at Work book. Jacqueline, always great to see you. Welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Good to be here.
We want to spend some time talking about adaptability today. Let's start with the theme definition. Can you dive into that for us?
Yes. Adaptability is very much the in the moment, live in the present type of individual if you lead with this high. And they tend to take, looking at their future one day at a time. Let's just build that brick one day at a time and see where the road takes us.
We want to look at it as kind of how it relates to you. So let's look how it relates to an individual and then how it relates to others.
Yeah, so I think someone high with adaptability adjusts really well to numerous or competing priorities. They continue to remain responsive under pressure. So the last 2 years, they've probably really been able to shine, and they're often considering that most immediate need. So whatever's in front of them is okay. Let me focus on this. If I think about how they relate to other people, they can adjust with ease when it comes to those changes that arise in the workplace or even personally. So they're really good at helping teams, or if we go to the personal perspective, family members navigate through any changes and um, really do so with a sense of calm and comfort. And then that creates more stability for those around them.
Oh, I love how you ended that. I was going to lean
Yeah.
on that. This idea of stability amidst chaos, in that providing folks with high adaptability can provide that environment to,
Mhm.
I think sometimes to stay calm. I double that with a ranger, which is a very powerful, those two working together.
So neat. You have that combo.
Yeah, work really, really powerful together. Now, my long range planning is terrible, but in the moment, there's no,
I'm your person. Lean into me in the moment.
there's nobody better. What as we think about this theme of adaptability when it's
Yeah.
thriving versus when it's struggling, let's talk a little bit about that.
I think about firing on all cylinders and thriving in life for this person is probably when they're free to live in the moment, both in their personal and professional life once more. So whether they're helping, a team adjust to a return to work or hybrid situation right now, or, if they just want to try out different fitness classes throughout the month, maybe they have a class pass, that's when they're at their best, is when they can just kind of be in that present moment.
We in the book in the appendix, we've got some sections you can kind of focus on based on the 5 elements. Can you give me an example of one of those from the book?
Yeah, I think about financial well-being. So for someone that lives in the moment, I think you just hit the nail on the head. It can be hard to start planning more long-term, whether it's, work responsibility or financial responsibility. So if we look specifically at financial well-being, it might be difficult, sometimes to think about major life expenses like buying a home or saving for retirement or a family vacation. So a financial planner could be a really good partner for someone with adaptability high that can, really help them think about short-term expenses and memorable experiences they want to make, but also those long-term savings plans too.
Financial well-being at work is a difficult conversation to have
Yeah.
sometimes, I think, and for folks with high adaptability, they may be able to provide some additional alternative ways to talk about it, to think about it, to live with it, to work with it, that may ease that in, right? I mean,
Mhm.
I think when during the early days of the pandemic, we were very, very worried about that, and I think within teams, we needed that skill because I think nobody knew, right? We were like, "Ooh,
Yeah.
what's going to happen to the economy? What are we gonna do?" So I love that you picked financial for this one. I think folks with high adaptability have that opportunity to bring those kinds of those kinds of things. We have
Hmm.
4 other elements and examples in there, right, for folks if they want to go in there and take a look at that. And
We
so
do.
we'd encourage you to do that there in Appendix 1. So for those with adaptability, this is my favorite part. How can
Yeah.
they use it to help others?
If we think about using it to help others, let's go to like if they're a manager leading a team. So one thing they can do is anytime there's organizational or department change, they can bring comfort and stability to that team. They because they think one step at a time, one day at a time. They can be that let's say that calming presence that helps lead
Mhm,
the team to say, hey, we've got this there's a path
mhm,
that we can take. Let's focus on it. We can adjust. We've got this, no problem at all. So they can bring again that sense of stability and hope. I think if they were on a team and we're just thinking from a colleague to colleague perspective, they're really good. Like, you're one of those individuals with high adaptability that I could lean into, and there's another in the workplace. But if you're that colleague and you just get anxious, maybe something was, just landed on your plate or you have a new work responsibility, someone with adaptability is really good at serving as that thought partner, to just really help them think through that plan and bring a sense of cadence. And I'm going to use the word calm again, but calm back to their life. And it makes
mhm,
them feel more confident moving forward. Um, from an individual perspective, and I'm thinking individual, but again, they're so good. I love that it's a relationship building theme because we see that come forward. But from the individual perspective, they get energy from being able to live in the moment or,
mhm,
needing to think and be on their feet quick. So that enthusiasm coupled with the sharp thinking they have when they're in the moment, I think um, it helps other people see that, hey, things are good. Things are okay. We've got this. They're not running around spinning in circles. So I don't think I need to either. So the excitement you have for change just helps everyone else go, oh, okay. Things aren't so bad after all.
In the early days of Call to Coach, this was not as easy as it is today. I mean, we have lots of great tools that really just kind of make this easy. I don't have to work that hard anymore. But in the early days, it was really, really difficult. We were bringing a couple different systems together, and they wouldn't oftentimes wouldn't work. And I would, there it'd be crazy in behind the scenes of things happening.
Mhm.
And I always got a lot of comments from folks like, "You always seem calm when things are, going crazy." And I love the word you said earlier, stability, right? I think
Mhm.
in all 3 of those, whether you're leading a team, you're a team member, or individually, I think that gift of adaptability, we often think of it as bringing chaos, but I think it actually brings stability,
Mhm.
right? It's the ability to handle that chaos and bring stability in to provide that, we talked about those in the 4 needs followers, right?
Yes.
In bringing that in. So I love the fact that you emphasize this. I think this is the superpower of adaptability is to be able to bring that stability. We in Appendix 2, which I think is just as important as Appendix 1,
Yes.
there's a framework there. I want you to apply this to that framework as we kind of think through those 3. We have a whole bunch of questions back there for you, but walk us through those 3 questions.
One thing we think about is ask yourself. So if you lead with adaptability and we circle back to the financial well-being piece, one thing that you could just kick off with is what are my financial goals? Um, just lay that out there. What are my financial goals? What do I want, short term or long term? So that accountability partner you do have, or that system you put in place, or that financial planner now knows what they're working towards or what you're working towards. And then another section is ask your team members. So, do we encourage each other to have these enjoyable experiences, such as a great vacation? It's a financial well-being piece, but that's looping in so many other elements of well-being. You're in a community if you're vacating somewhere. um, you're probably, if you're with family or friends, you're getting that social piece in. From the career aspect, you're just encouraging each other. So as we go back to well-being and this burnout that people are experiencing in the workplace, um, really being there for each other to say, hey, have you taken a break yet? When's the last vacation you had? Go out there. Have that memorable experience, I think, is something that we can all bring to the table. But for adaptability, that might also be encouraging and a way of holding even themselves accountable to making sure they've got the right systems in place to have that vacation they desire with family or friends.
What about
Yeah.
that? What about that last section of taking action in there?
Yes. So if I think about taking action, let's call out one of those. Drum roll.
Mhm.
I think it goes back to establishing default systems,
Mm.
whether it's automated
Mhm.
savings or a budget tracker where it just does all the budgeting for you. There's a lot of good websites where it just starts to funnel in how much you're spending on entertainment or groceries, etc. That could be a really easy way to start to reduce any worries about finances, particularly for somebody high with adaptability. So it's not going to feel really droll or boring. You just, you have different ways of accounting for um, your financial well being.
Yeah, no, I love that. Coach is a great opportunity as you're working through with someone on this. Take a theme, talk about an area of well-being they may be struggling in, and then head over to
Mhm.
appendix 2, and there's some questions to say, okay, let's ask these questions about yourself. Let's ask them about your team members, those that you're working with, if they're a leader or not. Everybody leads something, right? And
Yes,
then I love the action items that are in there,
me
and
too.
just some opportunities to do some great things. Jacqueline, any other
Oh,
final
nuggets.
thoughts before we wrap it up?
I would turn this over to you. This is I think my 33.
Mm,
I love people with adaptability. A
uh,
ranger's a little higher, so there's some flexibility there, but
right.
I'm almost the other end of the spectrum with discipline. So yeah,
Yeah. Well, I've put myself
whatever
in a
resonates
role
with you.
to make this work. Like that's my role. I
Yeah.
as a community manager, as a brand ambassador, the world's chaotic. I get questions all the time, right? It's
Mhm.
different every day. I try to have some. I love, by the way, I love your automatic systems advice on this. Like, yes, we who are high in adaptability need automatic systems to make things work for us. So, I think some great by
Yeah.
the way, automatic systems help have a higher well-being for me because I'm not worried about them happening or not. They just do, right? They
Yes.
just do, and it takes that worry away from me. So I think that's what I would add there. Well, great. Well, with that, we'll remind everyone to take full advantage of the resources we do have available for you around everything we've talked about, not just the book, but head out to gallup.com/CliftonStrengths, log in, and there's some great resources for you there. For coaching, master coaching, or if you want to become a Gallup certified strengths coach, we can help you with that. Send us an email, coaching@gallup.com. You can find us on any social platform just by searching Clifton Strengths, and we'd love to interact with you there. Thanks for listening today. If you're live, stay around for a little bit of mid show. With that, we'll say goodbye, everybody.